Nate and Garrett Show, talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. Truth bombs that many never knew. We talking politics, everything up to the moon. Was the landing real or fake? I guess you'll never know. Let's talk, this is the Nate and Garrett Show, yeah. So lend me your ear, let's get it poppin'. You know that we keep it live, non-stoppin'. Educating, entertain, there ain't no doubt. After you listen, you'll be thinking way outside the box. From media dishonesty, never let them play you. Keep it authentic nowadays, many can't do. Unfiltered is how we do it. Make sure you stay locked in and tuned in, let's go. Had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. The Nate and Garrett Show.
And now, welcome to the Nate and Garrett Show. Prepare yourself to be transported to the furthest reaches of reality. As the hosts unravel the mysteries of the universe, the depths of the deep state, the truth hidden in plain sight, all while bringing you the news from this week. Please welcome your hosts, Nate and Garrett.
Garrett.
Hi, Nate.
Hey, what's up, dude?
Hey, everybody. It won't matter for the replay, but it's basically telling me that we're not live right now.
Oh, okay.
Get that?
Well, I think we are, though.
All right, we're here.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, sorry we're a little bit late, and we didn't get a weekend show in, but I know I'm a broken record saying this, but holy cow, do we have a ton to cover.
There's too much to cover today.
Yep.
There's a shitload going on. Yeah, yeah.
It's just not slowing down. In fact, it's just picking up.
Yep.
And one of the reasons we're late, we should just say it. Like we were, we come out with titles for our show that we're trying to kind of guess what we're going to talk about and go over it. And they basically warned us already. Twitch did. We have obviously tons of problems with YouTube. We're done on YouTube. I don't think we're ever gonna. We're going to just keep making accounts.
Boxbar, what's up, dude?
But Twitch warned us before we went live, saying that basically warned us that how did it word it? Basically saying our title is against Twitch's standards, basically.
Yeah, I said our title might violate Twitch's moderation policy.
Yeah.
And we had something that said, Dr. Fauci tortures dogs.
Bear shells Biden.
Yeah.
And lockdowns making kids dumb, essentially.
Yeah.
And we think we got it figured out. We're giving them the benefit of the doubt. But Twitch is not. I think it's not because they're cool with our subject matter. I think it's because they don't have the same tools that YouTube does, probably.
Right. I think you're right.
But I think that's against they're because they had this animal and tortures.
Yeah, since we had torture, and I think it didn't have anything to do with Fauci or anything like that. It had to do with the word torture.
I mean, we're giving the benefit of the doubt with that one because every other platform, they basically hide you and censor you if you're against their profit. So
yeah,
so
that's why we're late.
I mean, Fauci's had a bad week, to say the least.
Yeah, he has,
right?
dude. Yeah.
I mean, he went in front of Congress saying, here's what gain of function research is, and we don't do gain of research. And if we did, we would do it right, but we don't. And Rand Paul, you are lying. And then the typical suspects, the Brian Stelters, the CNN, the funniest part is the fact checkers. They went after Rand Paul. They called him a liar.
And anyone saying there was gain of function, they went after too. Yeah.
They gave him like 3 Pinocchios just for saying, look, you're admitting here. So then they brought Fauci back. We're just talking about the moving goalpost. First, Fauci said, nope, no gain of function. Here's what gain of function is. Then they brought him back saying, hey, Fauci, why are these emails showing it? And he basically changed the definition of gain of function, but really wouldn't define it, but basically said, no, we weren't doing it. You're lying. And then the fact checkers came to the rescue again. Well, now the NIH basically admits that they're doing gain of function. I don't know if you've seen it. They've renamed gain of function on their webpage now.
Oh, no way. I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
So what, they changed the definition of it?
Yep, they changed the definition of it. And not only that, they changed the term. So I think if you went there and did the search for gain of function, it won't come up. So I think they changed the
oh, wow.
Not even changed the definition. They changed what it was called, basically.
Yep. Well, that reminds...
Nothing's coming from it. I mean, he went in front of Congress and lied, and media and everybody basically said, Rand Paul, you're a fucking quack. You're not even board certified or whatever it is.
Right. And he's proven to be correct. Rand Paul was right the whole time about that.
And they still want to
and Dr. Fauci was lying about that.
Just kind of like what it came to the virus in general. They said, no, this could not have come from a lab. You're racist. And then it started turning into, well, there's a small chance it came from a lab, but you're racist to even think so. Then it turned into, well, there's a 50-50 chance this came from a lab. Now it's, well, it probably came from the lab, but what are you going to do about it? What's that to do with anything? They keep changing it. The same thing's happening here, where first it started with Fauci saying, we don't do gain of function. And then it's the gain of function is done, but we're not funding it. And then it turned into now we're funding gain of function. I don't know if you've read it. Like liberals now, because there's nothing to be wrong with their deity, is basically saying, you fucking idiots, you guys aren't reading the article. The article here says it can't be SARS-CoV-19 because of the genome. You guys don't understand. You're moving the goalpost. The goalpost has moved 3 or 4 times now, and they've lied to you 3 or 4 times. So why are you trusting them now? All of a sudden now it's like, well, now they're telling us the truth. They weren't the last 3 or 4 times, and the goalpost has been moving, but now they're telling the truth. You illiterate, ignorant racists.
And you're right, because that's what they're saying now. They're saying, okay, we did gain of function research, and we did gain of function research on bats and coronaviruses, but it wasn't COVID-19.
Not this one. And then you will see some people start to kind of okay. They'll say, okay, well, what do you want us to do with this now? What do you want us to do with this? Well, how about questioning stuff? Yeah. How about actually questioning these big pharma billionaires that you guys have been telling us forever have been evil and corrupt? Speaking of, do you know there's 9 or 10 new billionaires now because of these pharma? Because of money flowing in. 9 or 10 of them.
I did. Are you guys streaming somewhere else? My Twitch is slow as hell. Damn, Kenobi. YouTube, sorry, man.
Don't we have a new YouTube?
Actually, I think it is on our other YouTube, which is the Garrett and Nate show.
Isn't it our third one? Did we do the third one? Because we lost
That's our third one.
Okay.
Yeah. So you could go to YouTube and go to the Garrett and Nate show, and I think it's streaming on there. Until they watch it and to give us a ban.
I'm sure, because we don't, we have to make a new email address every time we do that.
Right, and a new phone number.
I'm sure we just don't check that made-up email. I'm sure we got strikes in there.
Yeah,
too.
Maybe it's not.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck, Opie.
Yeah.
Godspeed, buddy.
Yeah. But dude,
so then it's getting worse for Fauci. Now I don't know how they found these, but it also turns out that they are funding some pretty abominable testing on animals there.
Yeah, for sure. But before we go to that, I want to say, dude, what are the chances? What do you think that this coronavirus, let's say COVID-19, was it created in a lab in China? It's got to be fucking 99%.
So it came from a lab.
Yeah. Okay.
It came from a lab for sure. They first told us it was some fucking guy eating a soup with a bat in it.
Right.
So then they know that can't happen because of the genome. Then it turned into a pangolin that happened to be held next to a sick bat. Then somebody ate it and they got sick. And now they know it's not a pangolin. Now they can't find the intermediate animal, probably because there isn't one because it was in a lab.
Right.
But
because they use gain of function in a lab. Yeah.
Yes. So you have the big city of Wuhan that has the wet markets. And apparently the wet markets there is not what they're basically saying. Supposedly it's only amphibians and stuff. But anyway, it's not believable anyway, no matter what they're fucking eating there. The actual coronavirus that they're talking about came from bats that were in caves fucking hundreds of miles away from Wuhan.
Miguel says
Hundreds
it
of
was Randy
miles.
Marsh. I like
And
it.
it's really hard to get to these caves. So either somehow they captured this bat from this cave hundreds of miles from Wuhan and this magical stuff happened, or in the city of Wuhan where they were doing research on this exact virus and this exact bat, which we know somebody in that lab got sick and they had their medical records destroyed. And it's right there.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a very, if Occam's razor tells us anything, it tells us that 100% this came from the lab. There's no way it didn't.
Right. And it's from Gain of Function, funded by Dr. Fauci and the NIH.
Yes. I think they knew this. I think Dr. Fauci and the NIH knew that this was eventually to come back into them, so they had to squash it immediately. So while, who's that asshat that was basically emailing Fauci, Peter whatever.
Oh, Peter Drazek or whatever?
Yeah, Drazek. Yeah. He was emailing Fauci saying, basically, oh shit, this looks like this for sure is not from nature. But at the same time, he's publishing articles showing that it is from nature, and the fact checkers are using that. But on top of that, take the NIH out of this. They are a superpower, of course. China is. We get so many cheap goods from them. And face it, China has their fingers in everything. We found out that Feinstein's driver, turns out that wasn't her driver. It was her handler who was a Chinese spy that was telling Feinstein what to do. And she was warned of this, and they knew it was happening.
Yeah.
So the U.S. knew that instantly, and they knew, oh, fuck, there's nothing we could do. We can't go to war with China. We can't go and try to stop China. We have to eat this one. That's basically what they did. They knew they had to eat this one. And they did. And then they went out and said, you're racist for even questioning this. Are you trying to make sure we're live on our other one?
I'm linking it for Obi here.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
There you go. Obi. Hopefully you can watch it there.
So, yeah, it's obvious that the U.S. knew that China was behind this, but they're cowards because they're basically owned by China anyway, and we're too intermeshed with China. They were afraid of China.
And because we might be behind it in the end.
Yeah, and, I mean, like I said, you take out the NIH out of it completely.
All right, let me read this. Yes, it came from a lab, but it's proven to not be too bad of a virus. 99.6% survival rate. They released it to sell vaccines and divide the world. Look at all the rights we'll give up out of fear. Simple trick for stupid people.
You know why I think that the survivability is so high? Is because they had to rush it. They had to rush it.
So you think they did it? Oh, I like this theory of yours.
They wanted it to be closer to about a 70% survivability. They wanted immense fear.
Fuck, they didn't even need it.
They had there's Obi.
All right.
They had to. So the people were starting to look, these guys have literal concentration camps. And it was Taiwan is pushing back, and they don't want to be held by dictators. And it was like, hey, look, Trump's tariffs are destroying China. So I mean, there was no darker period in China in modern times. China was doing this, and then they did this, and then all of a sudden this virus gets released. I think it was supposed to be way.
They had to rush it out because China was facing so much pressure from Hong Kong and all this shit going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, one thing about the 99.6% survival rate, like that survival rate is much worse than it actually is.
You're basically saying you're taking the government's numbers with
that. Yeah. And also it's like, that's also taking all the 80-year-olds that were going to die anyway, and the government said, oh, they died of COVID. It's like the actual survival rate, let's say, of under 70s is much better than that. So I just don't like, even though that survival rate is better than 99%, I still think it's actually way better than even that. Anyway.
I think it's weird how they're doing this. Like, take ivermectin, for example. Admittedly, the research on ivermectin right now, you'd have to put on the poor to moderate. It's definitely on the scale of showing benefit. It's on poor to moderate. So moderate's pretty good. I mean, it's better than nothing, right?
Okay.
And even poor isn't bad. It's still better than zero. The side effects of ivermectin taken basically a good dose of it is almost zero. It's going to give you some GI stuff. That's about it.
Oh,
Like,
side
it's
effects.
not a
Not
dangerous drug.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, ivermectin is like public enemy number one.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, they're trying to take away doctors' license for prescribing it.
Yep.
A doctor and an adult are talking, and they say, I need something to help this virus. And he says, here you go, take this. Here is the positives. Here is the negatives. Buyer beware, kind of. I mean, the side effects of ivermectin are going to be less than the vaccine. We keep getting told, like, well, it's still better than getting COVID and dying. Well, with ivermectin, there's kind of no downside. So even if it is in the poor side, you're not going to hurt people.
But the downside is it doesn't push the vaccine narrative.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of getting at. It's kind of weird how that's happening. There's a doctor who I'm actually going through. He's mailing me ivermectin, but Dr. Said, he claims to have treated 4,000 people with COVID and has had only like 5 or 6 hospitalizations and 0 deaths. But he shows on Twitter all the time where he puts a prescription in and the pharmacist won't fill it. So this pharmacist is trying to practice medicine without a license and will even send him back saying, we are reporting you to your board.
Dude, I have a video of a pharmacist refusing to fill an ivermectin thing.
That's crazy.
But I got too many tabs open. I'll have to show it later.
I can tell you that aspirin has killed about an infinite amount of more people than ivermectin.
Yeah.
And it's over the counter. Or Tylenol, take your pick of an over-the-counter NSAID, has killed infinitely more people than ivermectin. But you don't hear people losing their license for saying go home and take aspirin.
Oh, it's crazy what's going on with that. I mean, look, we covered all that stuff about horse dewormer on Joe Rogan and all that shit last show.
I looked it up. I started saying, hey, it's not that uncommon to have medicines prescribed off-label. 20% of medication is prescribed off-label.
Yeah.
So 1 in 5.
Right.
1 in
super
5 medicine
common, right?
Should be the same thing. You don't hear it saying, oh, you're taking horse dewormer. What are you, a horse? No, I'm a person taking an off-label medicine. All that means is there hasn't been enough time to do double-blind studies on it. But you have physician after physician after physician coming out and saying, hey, this works. And there's a lot of evidence now. I mean, like I said, it's on the poor to moderate side. Masks aren't on the poor to moderate side. Masks are on the poor side. There's really no double-blind studies that show that mask helps with this. But what happens is if you point that out, you're taken off of Twitter and Facebook. And basically they essentially delete you and say, well, no experts, all the experts agree. And an expert says, I don't agree. They delete you.
They delete him. Yeah, well, you're fired.
Agree. And so what they're doing now is because the double-blind studies in the past didn't work for this, instead it said the opposite. What they're doing now is they're trying to use like population studies. They're saying, well, look, this area here did mask mandates and they're doing better than Florida is. Well, then we're going to get into the whole, does correlation prove causation?
Right.
Which when it
and
comes
what
to
else
ivermectin,
were they
we're
doing?
told
Right.
it's the opposite, that it doesn't prove it. In fact, it is, they try to use like it's evidence against it.
Right. Yep. It's weird how much this just seems like an obvious globalist conspiracy to me.
Obviously lying to us. It's going to
push the vaccines on everybody, to, like Boxbar brought up, to strip our rights away from us,
to make
get us
10 new
fired.
Billionaires. But it's going to get weird here because they're going to, basically, according to Fauci, they're going to okay vaccines for 5 to 11-year-olds. And they basically asked him about, is this going to be required? He says, well, didn't you have to have the MMR vaccine and the mumps vaccine before you went? Which is completely different because MMR and mumps is dangerous to kids.
Yeah.
and COVID isn't.
Okay, let's read these comments and then I'll play this little thing where he talks about this. Boxbar says, China is about to collapse anyways. Isn't their real estate corporations about to default?
You know what? They keep talking about the Evergrande, but their number 2 highest too is getting close. I mean, it's...
Yeah, that's what Obi said. Yeah. His comment disappeared because it's on YouTube, but he said 2 of them are going to default. DZD.
Hey, buddy.
Impeach Biden. I like that. Mayweather is backing up Kyrie Irving.
We're going to talk about Kyrie.
Yeah.
It's funny because Black Lives Matter is basically backing him too. But with the media is looking at Black Lives Matter going, wait a minute, you idiots are on our team.
Yeah, you're supposed to do what we say.
Yeah, you're woke, remember? So it's kind of funny. They wound this up, so they're just basically trying to gaslight people on that one.
Okay, but let's show, before we get on to that topic.
We got to talk, too, before we go. DZD always reminds you of the stock market. We got to talk Tesla. Did you see Tesla stock today?
I saw that some company bought the most Teslas ever in one go.
Hertz Car Rental put an order in for like 100,000 Tesla
There you
cars.
go. Yeah.
But Tesla itself is now worth over $1 trillion. There's only like 5 companies in the world worth that. So they went up 16%.
Damn, dude.
They went up 16%. So they added like, there's like $80 billion more Tesla's worth today than it was yesterday. You want to know what's funny about that? Hertz Car Rental is only worth about $12 billion. So a $12 billion company puts an order in for cars, and it makes a company gain $60 billion. Hertz Car Rental is worth a fifth of that.
That's weird.
So now what Elon needs to do is he needs to go and take that $80 billion and open up 5 more car rental companies and put 100,000 orders in.
Yeah.
And he just makes an infinite money.
He should. Hey, let me read this before it disappears.
Oh, yeah, that's what DZD's saying. Yeah,
Did you guys see the British scientists who wrote to their top medical office to immediately halt the vaccine and it shouldn't even be given to animals? It is not safe for humans. I didn't see that. But it doesn't surprise me. I think we're going to see more shit like that. Crazy. Up $100 billion market cap in one day from a $3 billion deal. That is interesting.
So
dude. I didn't
$100 billion because a $16 billion company put an order in. If you go to Elon's Twitter, Elon basically says, like, I'm shocked it moved the evaluation because our evaluation isn't on demand. Their demand's there. If you go and try to put an order in, we can go look right now. If you go try to put an order in for like a Model S, which is a $100,000 car, you got to wait months. It's like 6 months or something like that. So demand isn't their issue. Their issue is production, is getting these out the door. So Elon's basically saying, like, it's really weird that this helped our evaluation so much.
I guess it just shows adoption of the technology and kind of a big way.
It shows we're in a giant fucking bubble. That's what it shows.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It shows the stocks are all, stocks are.
Now we have a car company that's somehow the 5th most expensive company in the whole universe. Their evaluation is more than like every car company times like 5. I love Tesla. I'm the biggest Tesla fanboy. I've got one. I got another one in order. In order for them to be worth $1 trillion, almost everyone has to be driving a Tesla. But we're in a bubble.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Stocks aren't based on what their companies are actually based on anymore. It's just
it's like speculation now.
Okay,
back to the topic at hand.
Here's this.
So if all goes well and we get the regulatory approval and the recommendation from the CDC, it's entirely possible, if not very likely, that vaccines will be available for children from 5 to 11 within the first week or 2 of November.
Jesus Christ, why? What the fuck point would you give these kids vaccines for?
We played something with Rogan talking to Gupta, basically saying in young kids, it's more likely that they get hospitalized from the vaccine than them getting hospitalized from COVID.
Yeah.
Here's another very, very dangerous thing about this. We're told constantly, you've heard it, kids are resilient, and this is good for kids. It's going to teach them whatever stupid lesson they really think this will teach kids. The stats are coming in. Kids born during the pandemic now, something like lost 30 points to their IQ, which is massive.
Oh, God.
100 is supposed to be average.
Yeah.
And you get a standard deviation or 2 away from 100, you start really falling down. 30 points.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It's a crime against humanity. Yeah, I saw that too.
Let's say something raised your IQ 30 points. If you take an IQ test and you score 130, you're pretty goddamn smart. If you take an IQ test and score 70, you're pretty not goddamn smart.
Yeah, you're pretty dumb. Children born during pandemic have lower IQ.
I think it might be something like 20 something, but it's a lot.
Let's just see what this one says.
Getting at here. So we're basically told, like most cults, you know what? You saw this with people that get really big into anything. Veganism, CrossFit, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So yeah, it's a 78, so 22.
Jesus.
I mean, it's huge. That's huge. You see this a lot in like marijuana culture. No, man, there's nothing wrong with weed. Weed is perfect. It's not addictive. It's healthy. It won't make you stupid. We're seeing this with COVID now. They're trying to act like lockdowns are a good thing. They're trying to act like,
right.
You know,
it's been great. Anyway.
I don't have to drive to work now.
Yeah.
And you know what? It helped me. I see my family more. I like this. And masks. You know, some people's like, I wear a mask. I don't have to worry as much about how I look that day. And I find it kind of comfortable. Heck, I forget I have it and I wear it at home. You hear this shit all the time.
Yeah.
One of the things they're trying to do is they're doing it with the kids. They're basically saying, like, this is going to be a lesson for kids. They're going to be able to look back at this and they're going to be better for it. Not if they're statistically retarded.
Yeah.
That's not going to help.
It's not going to help them if they're way dumber.
And we've got to quit saying that kids are resilient because they're not. They grow up with this trauma. And that's why when you have kids that when you have parents that abuse their kids, turns out they were abused. When you have people turn out to be pedophiles, it turns out they were getting raped as kids. This isn't stuff that goes away.
The trauma
you don't
lasts.
Outgrow trauma like this. And people need to quit saying that. We're past that part. We know that's not the case. So this is like the first time in history I could think about where, so now we have kids losing IQ points. We have kids losing years of their lives. And now we're putting kids at risk for vaccines. And you ask somebody, saying, COVID's not dangerous for kids. Why are we vaccinating kids? It's to protect grandma. So now we are sacrificing the youth for the elderly.
Right.
How weird is that?
Oh, it's really evil. I think it's fucking evil, dude. And I think it's batshit crazy too.
Yes. We're sacrificing.
Yeah. There's no benefit for them. But there is lots of risk and more risk being found out every day.
We're lied to all the time.
Yeah,
there's no risks.
Right, exactly.
Because it's a COVID cult.
They're gaslighting the shit out of us. They're lying to us. And then, but it's obvious that there's big problems with side effects from these vaccines. And the kids don't need it. The kids do not need these vaccines. They don't need masks either.
The IQ thing's super important too. Because, in general, you hear people talking about all the time, like, the movie Idiocracy and like, it's a documentary.
Yeah.
Do you know the IQ level is going up constantly?
And
they
I saw
have
that.
Because 100 is average.
Yeah.
So when the average gets to 103,
they move that to the 100.
Down to 100.
Yeah.
It's called the Flynn effect. It's known. It happens. It's measurable. They think a lot of it is about up until 2 years ago, the internet was free. So people that were laboring at the factory had no reason to know what like the placebo effect was or a double-blind study. But now that's kind of terms that I went from the kind of academic class down to normal class through like TV, internet, all of that. But that raises IQ. It's called the Flynn effect. Now we're seeing the opposite. We're seeing these COVID cheerleaders not wanting this to go away, and they're sacrificing their kids.
Yeah,
and they're telling us
the Biden effect,
good for their kids,
where you all become dumber.
Yes.
Bill Maher had a good video about how stupid all this is. It's the one where he's standing in front of his home. I'll try to pull that up. I have a different Bill Maher video we might show today, which I thought was really great.
It's weird how he's making points. The left is turning so far left, it's leaving him in the dust.
Well, yeah, which is good for him. Good job of him not going with them. But I want to point this out again. The FDA has delayed Moderna COVID-19 vaccine for adolescents in the U.S. because those 4 Nordic countries go. And, I showed this on the last show, and you said, wow, I hadn't even heard about this. Yeah. If you Google it, like, nothing comes up. I Googled it today to find this article, and it was like the 7th thing. Nobody knows this.
It's obvious what's happening there, too. Is they know people are going to latch onto this.
Oh, yeah, it's good evidence for, like, what the fuck?
Did you see? Who was it? There's a country now. No, it's a town in Germany is no longer going to report when somebody that's fully vaccinated gets sick from COVID. They're not going to report it now because they're saying anti-vax people are grasping onto that number and running with it. So now they're admitting they're going to start keeping information from people.
Right. Well, they've already been doing that, but now they're admitting it. Anyway, this fucking psycho right here, he should stick to torturing dogs and leave the children alone.
Get to it. We haven't even talked about.
Yeah, I know. Let's say what the torture of dogs thing is.
There's two of them. The dogs one's a big one.
Listen to this, okay? They took beagle puppies. I just want to say what this is because I think it's so fucked up. We shouldn't have mad scientist type shit happening like this, okay? So Fauci helped to fund a study in Tunisia or something where they took beagle puppies and they put their heads in little cages like this, and then they cut them open a little bit, and then they put sand flies in there, sand flies, and had the sand flies eat the dogs' faces alive for days and weeks on end. And this was a good study by Dr. Fauci. What a great fucking guy he is.
Science that we could get from this. There's no information we could get from this that's worth it.
No, it's some kind of hellish torture. Like, if there's any the ethics in science is important to stop shit like this. And I thought we stopped doing shit like this in 1540.
Well, we did. That's why they could just go and outsource it to China, gain of function and whatever the fuck this is.
But it pisses me off what a psycho this fucking guy probably actually is.
You see the other one they did is they took monkeys and they used acid to burn the part of the brain that basically helps with fear. So it basically magnifies now their fear, and they're putting these monkeys next to shit they're afraid of, like spiders and stuff.
Yeah.
So they're going
I saw that.
shit.
Right, so that was another great study by this fucking psychopath weirdo.
It makes you wonder if there's something with the adrenochrome, because basically they're making the perfect adrenochrome with that.
Right, because the acid, they burned the brains of monkeys to amplify terror in monkeys.
That's some Black Mirror shit.
Yeah, it is.
That's something that happens.
So is that beagle thing.
When you get past the death penalty, you want to be super punitive. You call someone an insurrectionist, and you put acid on that part of the brain and torture them with it.
Yeah, and then you harvest their adrenochrome.
Yes.
Fauci's insensitive as fuck. Fucking sick. If they're going to do it, they should use pedophiles and rapists with the sandflies. I can't imagine what they do to human
supposedly
clones.
A leaked video
Chimeras.
that shows a human-animal hybrid, a chimera. I meant to bring it in for kind of a crazy conspiracy. But yeah, I'm willing to find it.
So what? It's a human-animal hybrid video?
It's supposedly an infant one, yeah.
Dude, I think that they might have been doing shit like that in the past.
Let's face it.
In ancient Egypt and shit.
We're finding all this evil shit these guys have done. And that's not even counting China and Russia. It's not even hiding it. In Germany of the old times. I mean, there's literally, I keep bringing this up because it's so insane, because the slogan for World War II is never again. But apparently they need to say never again unless we're getting cheap iPhones. Because it's happening. Everybody knows it, and nothing's being done. They've done a good job of calling you racist.
Yeah, never again.
Point out that there is literal Holocaust happening right now. I mean, it's as bad.
Yeah.
It's as bad.
Never again unless we perceive you as potentially powerful, in which case, go ahead.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And if you're helping us build
every
iPhones.
single day. But, we see a lot of times in nature even, ligers and mules and stuff. So the idea that with what technology is at today, that you can't make a human-animal hybrid, I think is pretty obvious that you can.
Yeah, well, maybe. Do beagles produce adrenochrome? You beat me to it, Garrett.
Yeah, it's even worse because that beagle one's terrible, of course.
It was out of China. Pretty sure the animal-human hybrid. I think it was a human hog, if I remember right.
Yeah,
they're making a pig man.
They're looking at hogs for if you need a heart or a liver and stuff. They're using them because it is pretty similar.
So they could try to grow a human heart in there.
Yeah, a hog is not as far as you'd think away from human, but
half human, half pig, half bear. Man, bear, pig. But yeah, the thing about splicing DNA to make human hybrids and all this shit, it probably is possible, And so is human
if you
clones.
know if
probably
it's possible, it's happening.
Hamburger Pig Mickles.
You know it's happening if it's possible.
Yep. Weird. There's so much weird shit going on, and this weirdo's behind most of it.
Seems to be in the middle of it. And he was during the AIDS epidemic in the 80s.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Anyway, I think it's really messed up. And also, I think that the Democrats should have some fucking outrage towards Fauci for torturing dogs. Don't they love animals?
You know what,
shit?
though? He is the prophet. He's the prophet. He does no wrong. In fact, they will move the goalposts for him.
Yeah.
And they'll sing songs about it at the same time.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's true.
It's unreal how hydroxychloroquine, we had people saying that people aren't taking COVID serious enough. And people said, hey, look, hydroxychloroquine might work. So Trump says, hey, hydroxychloroquine might work. And everyone turns into this fucking idiots trying to kill everybody with hydroxychloroquine. We need to ban it. I mean, they were rooting against it. There's liberals that will admit they're rooting against hydroxychloroquine. Now same with ivermectin.
Same with ivermectin,
That they're hoping ivermectin doesn't work.
Because they're in the vaccine cult and they don't want these other treatments. It's just so weird to me.
Did you see the Australian Prime Minister, whatever, came out, basically said that there's not going to be a true thing as a fully vaxxed human. It's going to be basically saying that's going to be a term for populations. We're going to talk about fully vaxxed populations.
Because they want to always say you need a booster next week.
Because they're finding out, and then it sounds like we talked about this in the past, but it sounds like if you had side effects, because they know that the second vaccine is more dangerous than the first.
For side effects, yeah.
It sounds like there's a chance that third one's going to be worse than the second.
I'm shocked. Of fucking course it's going to be that way. Yeah. Every booster is going to be a more dangerous shot, and you're going to be taking them every 6 months till you die because you're a moron,
Yeah, the cure killed lots of HIV positive patients.
Oh yeah, the cure was worse than AIDS.
The only reason Fauci wasn't at least relieved of his duties, because it was the 90s, it was before the internet, it was super easy to control the narrative, and AIDS was associated with gay people, which was associated to sinners type of thing.
Right.
They were kind of
that's why he didn't
thrown to the side.
face much.
That's why he got away with it. If it happened right now, he'd be done.
Maybe. Well, if it happened right now, either he'd be done or he would be glorified as a fucking saint of.
Gay community right now is a protected one. I don't think that old rich white guy would have enough clout.
Yeah, but they would just deny that they were dying from the drug. They'd say the drug's the greatest. You must take it, even though it's killing them. Okay,
right,
let's move on to something else.
We have a lot of things. I want to give you Kyrie Irving. We got at least touch on Alec Baldwin. Brian Landry's body was supposedly found, and people are not ready to accept it.
All of these are interesting topics to me.
Biden, the shells are literally becoming bare, and inflation's taking over. But yet somehow the stock market is through the roof.
That's funny. Well, which one should we talk about?
I don't know. We have about 20 minutes. Which one do we want to go to first? I didn't see this yet. He's talking about aliens here, right?
Oh, yeah. Actually, just while we try to decide what to go to, let's just play this little thing. Because it's I don't want to play the whole thing. But...
Now, I know what you've seen is what those
this dude
Navy
is
pilots...
sweating.
This is
Holy
a
shit.
NASA director, I think.
He's not from the Earth. He is with those aliens that were shopping in Vegas that we were talking about.
You're probably right, dude.
Somebody fucking get this guy a fan.
Yeah. Yeah, he does look like he's overheating. NASA Chief Bill Nelson talks about UFOs.
Saw in 2004, and there have been some 300 sightings since then. And I've talked to those pilots, and they know they saw something, and their radars locked onto it. And then all of a sudden it was here on the surface, and then it's there. And they don't know what it is, and we don't know what it is. We hope it's not an adversary here on Earth that has that kind of technology. But it's something. And so this is a mission that we're constantly looking. Who is out there? Who are we?
No, he accidentally admitted he's an alien. Who are we? Kenobi, let's read this before it disappears, man. Haha, Alec Baldwin, the gun hater, has now killed more people than 99% of the gun owners.
That's got to be closer to 99.99999.
I'm sure. But yeah, should we talk about?
But hey, that's a pretty big statement he's saying there.
Yeah.
He's basically saying, yeah, we saw this. This is out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, I had a clip I was saving for our show on Project Bluebeam. And it just showed how slow the speed of light really is. Let me see if I could really, really quick pull that up. Because it's pretty crazy to actually see this. Because you think like, you'll hear people talk about the Fermi paradox. Have you heard of the Fermi paradox?
Yeah, I have, but I can't remember what it is. What is it?
Let me see really quick. I think I'm close to finding this. Oh, man.
That's not the one that if there were aliens, why aren't they here, is it?
You know, it's pretty close. It's a. Fuck, I've got to find this. So what the Fermi's paradox is it's a equation that they thought they could. It's one scientist came out, Fermi, I think his name, but he basically said like, there's this many planets, there's this much. This is the odds that there should be aliens. Why haven't we heard from them? So yeah, you basically hit it on the head there. But what I don't think people understand is how big space really is. And we're nowhere near speed of light travel. But even if we were, let's say your speed of light travel, it sounds really fast. You could go around the Earth 7 times in 1 second, speed of light. But if you're traveling to the sun, it's like 8 minutes to go all the way from here to the sun. If you're going to the nearest star, we're talking about 2.5 years. If you're going to the other side of our galaxy, which our galaxy is one of infinite, we're talking about thousands and thousands of years. So what that means is if we send a message out to the stars, and let's say one of our neighbors catches it, that's 100,000 years for them to get it. And they send something back. We're talking 200,000 years.
Right.
Humans have
it's
not
pretty
been
long time
for 200,000 years. So I think it's crazy people do that. You know, you talk about Earth, you think Earth is big. If you take 1 million Earths, a million's a lot. Like if you try to get like a million pennies, you're talking like $100,000. It's 1 million Earths would go into the sun, and there's room for it. So you see those solar flares, and it looks like a little piece of fire comes off the sun. We're talking about thousands of Earths next to each other, basically.
Right, it's huge, right.
And our sun's a small one. There's suns out there that you could put 1 million suns in, and it's not even going to cover 1% of the star.
Yeah.
So I think the Fermi's paradox is kind of ludicrous and ridiculous.
Just because you think the vastness of space is
too
so
dang vast. It almost feels like to me this is set up where it's too far away that it's designed that we don't make contact, is what it feels like to me.
Yeah. I think that's kind of what I think. I think when God made everything, he said, well, let's make sure all these things can't communicate.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm a religious person, but it feels that way. It feels like, or the simulation or whatever.
Right.
But I'll save it for Project Bluebeam.
If we ever do Project Bluebeam. Yeah. Okay, well, why don't we just bring up what the fucking Alec Baldwin thing is?
So this is a developing story, it feels like, right? Like, we don't know all the details.
Nope.
What we do know is a prop gun fired by Alec Baldwin killed someone and injured another.
I thought he killed 2.
I thought just 1, but you might be right. Shit, I might be behind on this. But it's kind of funny because you'll see people like say like,
one shot fired by Alec Baldwin tore through 2 people. Damn, that's fucking bad luck. Or a great shot. You know what? That is a great shot by Alec there.
But you know what's funny about this? People will say like, oh, poor Alec Baldwin. That's not his fault. It's the prop fault. And you know what? People struck 2 days before. Unions struck 2 days before because of how shitty the working conditions were. So blame that because they were warned about that. So Scabs came in and did this. Well, it turns out they're saying basically, well, blame the producer. Well, he's the producer. Paul is the producer. So if there's people walking on the set, that's on him.
That's funny.
Warning shots in the New York Post says right there.
Okay, so
why is
everyone talks about like gun safety shit and like he was holding the gun. It's his job to make sure it's not fucking loaded or whatever. And I agree with that.
I mean, why is the red bat even there?
Why are they using live rounds or whatever? Yeah.
Why is it even there? Why is there a bullet on set?
Yeah. Anyway, this is definitely a tragedy. You know, if it wasn't Alec Baldwin that had shot them, it was conspiracy. It was a Hollywood sacrifice. Yeah, there's some conspiracies around this.
All right, I'm back.
Okay, there's some conspiracies around this shooting, too. Kenobi says, killed the cinematographer and wounded the director.
That's what I thought,
The one that died, it went through the chest and hit the director in the shoulder. The last person who was killed on a set from a pop gun was Bruce Lee's son.
Yeah, on the
Had it been that long?
Yeah,
Had it been that long? Wow. That's crazy. And, what can we say? This is what do you think, dude? This is probably just a terrible accident in the end, right?
Yeah, but he's a piece of shit. I don't want to give him much benefit of the doubt.
Shit, right.
Especially when supposedly he's so anti-gun and stuff.
Right.
You want to educate yourself and check the gun. I mean, you're the one pointing at people and firing. I get that.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why was there even a live round on set? I mean, do they use live rounds for anything?
I don't know. So I don't know. But why?
God, it sounds like a horrific thing. The lady got hit and went through her. I guess she was saying like, "I can't feel my legs. I can't feel my legs." Before she collapsed.
No, I didn't know that. It's coming out. They were having fun with the guns offset, like shooting live rounds for fun offset. Okay, so see, I've heard things like this.
Yes,
and if this is true, all of a sudden it starts to become really criminal to me. Of like, did he fucking
was he involved in this? If he's a producer and shit,
right? Were they out shooting bottles and he was being super irresponsible and shot her? You know, was he drinking? Was he going on a political rant? Because I heard that was.
There's rumors of that too, right?
Yeah.
I heard they weren't even filming, and he pointed at someone off set and fired it.
That's kind of what this is. That's kind of what Kenobi said. So if it's something like that, it starts to become much more, criminally negligent at least.
Man, I'm sure you've seen it. But there's old tweets they're digging up of him saying like, "Wonder what it's like to." You had like as a police involved shooting, and he was trying to shit on the cops, saying something like, "Wonder what it's like to unintentionally take someone's life."
Yeah, let me bring up that tweet.
Yeah.
I wonder what it's like to.
Just keep it there. Yeah, there you go. See that?
Haunted old tweet. Oh yeah, here it is.
This
God.
This isn't the good guy we're talking about here.
No, I'm not a fan of Alec Baldwin.
No.
And
it's not just his politics. It's.
No, it's not just his politics. It's actually who he is as a person. And we're going to play his fucking voicemail to his daughter, and that's when I really start hating the guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to find the actual tweet, but what the tweet says is, how it must feel to wrongfully kill someone. I wonder how it must feel to wrongfully kill someone in 2017.
Shit on this cop that shot a guy.
Yeah, a cop shot a guy, and so he's mocking the cop.
Yeah, they always talk about they hired Scabs, but it sounds like they're walking off to protest him, and it sounds like he's the producer.
Was it? They were saying Alex drunk all the time, shooting guns. We quit.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be more coming out about this. I don't think that's something that happens really easily. He's kind of a protected person. He's on the right side of history, as the media would put it.
I want to show that little.
You gonna play his voicemail?
Yeah, let's play the voicemail. So here's who Alec Baldwin really is. Okay, here's a voicemail to his 10-year-old daughter.
I can't imagine.
Hey, I want to tell you something, okay? And I want to leave a message for you right now, because again, it's 10:30 here in New York on a Wednesday, and once again, I've made an ass of myself trying to get to a phone to call you at a specific time. When the time comes for me to make the phone call, I stop whatever I'm doing, and I go and I make that phone call at 11 o'clock in the morning in New York, and if you don't pick up the phone, at 10 o'clock at night, and you don't even have that goddamn phone turned on. I want you to know something, okay? I'm tired of playing this game with you. I'm leaving this message with you to tell you, you have insulted me for the last time. You have insulted me. You don't have the brains or the decency as a human being. I don't give a damn that you're 12 years old or 11 years old, or that you're a child, or that your mother is a thoughtless pain in the ass who doesn't care about what you do as far as I'm concerned. You have humiliated me for the last time with this phone. And when I come out there next week, I'm going to fly out there for the day just to straighten you out on this issue. I'm going to let you know just how disappointed in you I am and how angry I am with you that you've done this to me again. You've made me feel like shit, and you've made me feel like a fool over and over and over again. And this crap you pull on me with this goddamn phone situation that you would never dream of doing to your mother, and you do it to me constantly and over again. I am going to get on a plane, and I'm going to come out there for the day, and I'm going to straighten your ass out when I see you. Do you understand me? I'm going to really make sure you get it. Then I'm going to get on a plane, I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to come home. So you better be ready Friday, the 20th, to meet with me. So I'm going to let you know just how I feel about what a rude little pig you really are. You are a rude, thoughtless little pig, okay? To replay this message.
Do you know how you know if you're a failure as a human being? Is if you're a failure as a parent like that. And you know if you're a failure as a parent? If you're saying any of that to your 12-year-old daughter. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. That's an egomaniac that had his ego hurt because his 12-year-old daughter isn't stroking his ego enough. That's what it is.
He sounds like a megalomaniac in that phone call.
sure. And his ego isn't being stroked enough.
Yeah.
You know what that reminds me of, though? Do you remember when that Hasselhoff thing happened where he's eating that cheeseburger?
Not really.
Go to YouTube and type like Hasselhoff cheeseburger.
Yeah, but he calls her a rude little pig.
How about that? It's 12.
Call your daughter a pig, man. What a piece of shit.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, and maybe she doesn't answer because you're a
There
fucking asshole, dude.
You haven't seen this?
I don't think so.
You had to play a little bit of it.
What is this? She's eating a cheeseburger off the floor.
I think he's like berating his daughters. There's something up.
What the hell? I have never seen this.
You know this guy's like a giant superstar in Germany?
Yeah.
So the idea, like...
He said he helped bring down the Berlin Wall.
Guys, are you gonna do your show tomorrow?
Germany's just mowing this cheeseburger down on the floor, hammered, and just berating his daughters.
You're gonna get alcohol? Don't get alcohol. Don't get alcohol, because you see what it's doing to you? You're on the floor.
Damn, this dude is hammered.
What?
This is a mess.
What do you even say?
This is a mess. It is now. Jesus.
That almost has to be more than alcohol. But I think he starts berating her, if I remember right. Because she's basically saying, Dad, quit doing this.
Yeah.
Doctor is coming over here in the morning to check your alcohol level. And if you have any alcohol in your system, you're going to be fired from the show. Tomorrow. You hear me? No alcohol.
Yeah.
He sounds like Sly Stallone.
Who said?
Jan. I just talked to her and she just called the manager of the show and they said that tomorrow If when the doctor's coming over and if they test any alcohol in your blood, you're fired from the show.
I was just
they're
going
not
to
coming
play
tonight, you'd
the
be fired
Mel
from the
Gibson
show.
if we're going down this road.
Oh yeah, what about Mel
We
Gibson?
can't see your guys' comments. We have a video playing, so sorry about that.
But weed isn't legal. Yeah, alcohol.
Do like Mel Gibson jacuzzi.
Play that, all right.
Weed's not, but Delta 8 and 10 is.
Yeah. This is it.
God, the poor dude's had too many.
The rant goes on. Correspondent Ben Tracy has a
with one tape.
You look like a heap.
Then another.
You need a bat in the side of the head. How about that?
A third.
You're a using whore.
And now a fourth. Nearly 20 minutes of hate-filled rants.
Dude, I don't need the news.
I know.
Commentator.
Just type in like Mel Gibson hot tub. That might come up.
Dude, I love how insane Mel Gibson sounds.
Oh, it's great. It's fun. I can see this violating YouTube's TOS because he does kind of go off on the Jews and stuff.
So just fucking listen to me.
Oh yeah, he's like out of breath. He's so crazy. He's like out of breath.
I didn't do anything to you. You are ruining my life.
You make my life so fucking difficult.
Well, you know what? It's
Be a woman that fucking supports me instead of a woman that sucks off me and just fucking sucks me dry. And once, get out to this relationship if you're a good woman and you love me.
Do you remember in the 90s when they had like soundboards and you'd prank people and you'd hit the sound? It almost sounds like this is a soundboard of a super angry guy.
You're right. It does. It sounds like a soundboard prank phone call.
Yeah, he's just like, you should smile and blow me.
yeah. I'll bet people made this into soundboards.
Go type in Mel Gibson smile and blow me. Type that in for a search.
I think it's probably in that one.
It is. But it's
I don't want to
the
listen for 8
quote.
minutes.
There it is. Look at that one. Yeah. Not that one, of course. But anyway, he basically is yelling at her. He's like, you should just smile and blow me.
Don't hang up on me. I have plenty of energy to drive over there. You understand me? And I will. So just fucking listen to me. Listen to my fucking ranting. Listen to what you do to me.
I didn't do anything to you.
Pain in the ass.
You are ruining my life.
You make my life so fucking difficult.
Well, you know what? It's
You be a woman that fucking supports me instead of a woman that sucks off me and just fucking sucks me dry. And once, get out to this relationship if you're a good woman and you love me. I don't believe you anymore.
What did you say?
Think of your bullshit.
I did not do anything. This is your selfish imagination. That's all.
Fuck up. You should just fucking smile and blow me.
Just how he draws it out, too. Smile and blow me.
Have you ever been that mad in your life?
No, especially not at like
insane,
a loved
dude.
one.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like maybe this fucking guy that cut me off and I'm going to go and burn his house down, but not to someone I care about.
Yeah.
This did just destroy his career.
Yeah, he was huge until this stuff came out. But
and then it turns out like he's that really old school Catholic, like the non-papal one. Like if you look at the last like, what do they call those conventions or whatever? He basically thinks that convention is illegitimate. And so any pope since then is illegitimate. They have a different line. They still do like the mass in Latin with the backs turned towards the crew and stuff.
That's so ridiculous, the mass in Latin. That's whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of, I think that group, there's more of the whole like, fucking Jews killed Jesus.
Yeah, and
but
so
no, like,
he got pulled over drunk and he ranted at that cop for being Jewish. Remember that? Yeah. That was a big thing.
The South Park.
We'll have to do a whole Mel Gibson episode sometime. There's so much.
Okay. But yeah, I think in order to get that mad as he got and like as mad as Baldwin guy, you've got to just have those giant egos. And just the how dare you attitude, really.
Yeah, yeah.
I
think you develop it also. Like after 20 years of being a superstar, you start to think like, how could you not answer the phone? You know?
My daughter,
I called you.
She came and said to me once, she's like, hey, Daddy, you got mad at me once. I said, no, I didn't win. And she's like, yeah, you did. When I was crying, you got mad. And I was kind of thinking, I'm like, have I ever really been mad at her? I'm like, I don't think so. So I just can't imagine this.
Yeah, you've never called her a rude little pig or anything like that?
No, I have not.
Well, dude, we're at an hour. We didn't cover about half
I think
a
we're going to
shit.
have to just cover that. We knew there's going to be stuff left over. We're going to have to just do a bonus show. I want to cover the Virginia governor race so bad. So that election for the Virginia governor race is a week from tomorrow. Okay. And it's great. Virginia's deep blue. Biden won it by like 11 or 12 points. And now it looks like the Republican might win. Has a very, very good shot. Polls are showing it almost a dead heat.
Really? That would be awesome.
Virginia governor.
Yeah,
and
that
it seems to be centered around CRT, critical race theory and stuff.
Oh, good. Get rid of that shit.
Loudon, the whole thing we talked about where that fella dressed in a dress went to the female's bathroom and raped her.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't tell anybody because it's a protected class. DZD, are you from Virginia?
Oh, good luck, man. I'm rooting for that. Would be huge.
You know, I was talking to a big liberal. They said, "Who's the Democrat?" I said, "Terry McAuliffe." Like, oh, because the Republicans have an issue. Is there's no superstars. There are no superstars. So the Republican Party, I can tell you 5 guys off the top of my head that have a chance of being the next president. The Democrats don't. There's nobody there. Terry McAuliffe is the guy they were trying to act like is going to take over after Biden. But he had his Howard Dean moment, and this is what we have to play out on.
They're actually making it hard to find these dance moves.
Go to DuckDuckGo or something.
I
just text you it. We'll be able to find it.
Here's 8 gifs of him dancing. Maybe this will be enough. This isn't even the worst one.
Let's show Black Lives Matter this. Do you think that's going to go and win the black vote?
Dude, I think it's the best one is when he's like in front of that crowd and it's just so clear how awkward it is.
Why would he do that? Why would he do that?
Go, Glenn.
Oh, I got it. Check your email or your text message. This is the last one I sent you in text. On 10/19, Libs of TikTok tweeted it out.
I'm gonna have to email it to myself real quick. 1 sec.
But we missed it. We can't see comments. Is DZD from Virginia?
Yeah.
Awesome.
He was.
What's it like there? Do you think he's got a chance?
Read Kenobi's comment if you can read it.
It was. He was the one that was basically like, and then as the baby's sitting there out of the womb breathing, the parent and the doctor could decide if the baby's going to be aborted or not.
He said that?
Yes. He said it.
That's what these fucking psychos want to do, dude.
Yeah, they're keeping the baby comfortable. So they're talking about aborting, and it's not even a pregnancy at that point. They're talking about aborting a child.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Democrats love abortion so much.
Signs in Virginia basically say, "Oh no, this is him." Do you know what this is? This is him trying to embrace it. Did you see that?
What?
He knows it's the Howard. He's trying to lean into this.
This right here, him dancing.
Yes, this is him going. Hi, I thought you guys liked this. Here's some more.
He should not.
I'm so kooky.
He should not double down on this.
No, this is not one to lean into.
That's great.
This is one you ignore and you make it seem like it never happened.
Yeah, but here it is, right?
Jesus, 2 different places? Oh my god.
He's done this 2 places.
Oh my god. This must be something he does. That would be a sign of the red wave. You know, we talked about in the past what it would take for the country
100% has a chance
split up and stuff. It doesn't need to happen. All the Republicans have to do is wait for next election. We'd wait for 1 year. They have the House and the Senate. They wait 2 more years. They have the House, Senate, presidents, and the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
There's no need at this point.
People my age can't find a job in Virginia, and they're tired of being locked down. Oh my God, dude.
So you guys still have lockdowns and shit, huh?
Probably if they got a Democrat governor. Yeah, I think the red wave's coming, dude. I think the red wave's coming.
If they're put up by Republicans and make them look bad, but there's signs saying like, vote Terry McAuliffe, keep parents out of school, because like this whole thing is.
I saw that and I thought they're campaigning on that.
I don't know if it's Republicans trolling people or not, but there's signs basically saying, vote Terry McAuliffe, keep parents out of the schools.
Yeah, let us brainwash your kids with CRT.
I think he was the guy that couldn't define what CRT is, but was guaranteeing it wasn't happening like Republicans say, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But,
well, I hope the Republican wins Virginia. That would be unreal.
I can't wait. I think that's the 2nd. So I think that's a week from tomorrow. And we've got to cover it. It's fun to watch it on predictit.org and everything. And
so I kind of want to play this video from Bill Maher, but it's 7 minutes.
Fuck it, let's do it.
Sure.
How long is it?
It's like 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
We'll start it, and if we get bored, we'll end it.
Okay, cool.
New rule: Americans must answer the question posed on Twitter last week by Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene: should America have a national divorce? Now, I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene should really be a representative at all. She's the house you tell your kids to avoid on Halloween. But her question does represent the thinking of a lot of Americans on both sides.
Yep.
Ben Shapiro floated the idea that our best hope now is a friendly separation of states. 66% of Republicans in the South say they would support secession to join a new confederacy. 41% of Biden voters want to secede. I mentioned this in this space in our last editorial, in our last show, about how Trump is right now behind.
Okay, I'm going to pause it just to say, like, look how many people are kind of legitimately supporting a breakup.
All the Reddits, the only reason the Democrats are 40% is because they have the presidency now, and the Senate and the House. So what they're in power, so there's no reason for them to break up. But they're not going to be in a year. That 41% is going to go to 70%. Wait until Trump gets reelected. It's going to be 90%.
Where they really want to secede, you mean?
Yeah, it's.
But why? Because people won't be forced to be vaccinated, won't have to wear masks. That's why they'll want to.
You dirty, infested rodent. They don't want you killing their 1,000-year-old grandma
at the stadium.
Kid,
yeah,
dumb. That's what it is.
Right. Things have slowed down, and friend groups are split 50-50. And when you see your friends not being able to find a job, you can sniff out the bullshit the Dems are playing.
You must not have heard Jen Psaki say that the economy's roaring and there's more jobs available than people finding jobs.
Yeah. And the only problem is it's hard to get a treadmill. Okay, but I support seceding from the Union for the South because of what I would call tyrannical bullshit.
Here that you're a younger guy. In a blue state, you would expect that number to be about 70-30, not 50-50.
But I would support seceding because I don't want vaccine mandates and tyrannical.
Before this happened, I wasn't even a giant Trump guy. I thought a lot of stuff he was doing was like the tariffs was dumb. I knew he was lying to us when he said we'd be doing taxes on a postcard. I knew he's lying when he talked about draining the swamp. But when it came down to it, and the whole nation's on house arrest, at least the Republicans are acting like they're in the trenches with us against this giant tyranny, fascism, whatever the hell it is we're going through. At least they're fighting with us.
Yeah.
So for that,
and the others are causing the problem. They're supporting this kind of tyranny.
Yes.
I wonder if Jen will come wait a few tables for me to help me out. I recently graduated college.
No, but she'll send that gay TikToker with long nails, probably.
Yeah. He'll come be her intern.
Republicans should just run that as a commercial when it gets time for elections.
But Bill,
we could open the show with this too on Thursday.
Next time. Well, he's right that there is a big there's a lot of support for separating the country.
Do you know what they're going to say? They're not going to let it happen. He's exactly right. What they're going to say is, well, California gives more tax money than it takes in. And
right.
They're going to have all
that's fine. Keep your money then, California.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
But they're going to use that as, we know what's better for you than you know. That's what they're going to turn it into.
I'm
but
so sick of that
can't happen because of the crops and everything else.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to play the rest. Maybe we'll play.
As we open with it.
Yeah, we'll play it next time. It's good, and I think he makes some decent points.
And obviously, we've played about 30 seconds of this, and we've had about 10 minutes of conversation. So it's going to take us a while to get through it.
Probably.
Yeah.
They won't let the Midwest secede because of the crops. Yeah. I want the whole middle of the country to secede. We'll just make
They need to start.
They
need to start from Florida, and they need to just make a diagonal line.
Yeah, we talked about it
going
before.
through.
Yeah.
Maybe grab Wisconsin and Michigan if they want to be.
Yeah.
If they don't, whatever.
If they don't, go have fun in the communist shithole. Southwest Virginia is mainly Republicans.
I've seen that. It sounds like there's some areas of Virginia.
Watch Virginia
split guaranteed to go against McAuliffe. But same like anything. Anytime you have big cities, it's blue. Anytime it's more rural, it's red.
Yeah.
Man, that would be big if Virginia would. I can't believe they might win the governor. Can you imagine Virginia started to actually?
That would be such a big evidence of the giant red wave.
Oh yeah, if that's happening, that's a 10-point swing. And I know it's different, but in theory, you could look at the states where Biden lost by won by less than 10 points and say these are going red.
Right. Yeah.
That's a huge simplification.
Even that it's close. Even that there's a question, it might go to Republicans.
Oh yeah, if it's within 5 points, Democrats are in deep trouble. Deep trouble.
Yep.
And I think it's because they have bad bedfellows. I think of the Democrat Party of the 90s right now would clean house. But I think the critical race theory, I think the ignoring science with this. I think when we have our State Department tweeting out that today is pronoun day, and here's an article on why it's important to have pronouns in your Twitter account, while at the same time, the Taliban in Afghanistan beheaded a female soccer player. A female soccer player on the exact same day got beheaded because she's female, she played sports. But our State Department is tweeting out why pronouns are important.
Yeah, and at the same time,
going to destroy the Democrats.
Yeah, and at the same time, the shelves are bare. Inflation's going way up. Eggs are 3 times the cost.
We're being lied to.
And we got the fucking State Department talking about pronouns.
Yes.
So there's so many problems, and the Democrats' problems are all made up bullshit.
You know, the next Republican better clean fucking house for real. They better get Garland the fuck out of the AG. They better get the 4-star general, the Levine. They better get Levine the fuck out of there. They better get Rye the fuck out of there. They better clean house.
They got to get all these ideologues out of there. I
CIA, you name it. Any of the 3-letter organizations, they've got to change up. They got to get Milley out of there. You can't.
Get General Milley out of there.
You got to actually do shit.
Yep. You are right, Mac. A Bill Clinton candidate right now would dominate your election. Good thing they aren't that smart.
Yep, it is. They made bad bedfellows. People forget, not only Bill Clinton, but Obama came into the office anti-gay marriage. Obama was anti-gay marriage.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But he's the one that the gay community likes to point to.
That's how I knew he was a hypocrite, because he was still married to Michelle.
And he's still blowing dudes in bathhouses.
All right, man. Let's end the show.
We'll see you guys. It's great to be back.
Great show. Great chatting with everybody. I thought it was great today.
See a lot of the familiar faces.
Yep.
Migos, Kenobi, Box, DZD.
Yep. Everybody, anybody.
Yep.
Thanks a lot, everybody.
We're hoping to do a Halloween show, but it might be a little bit late because we've been pushed back. But we'll see what we can do.
Yeah. Otherwise, Thursday.
Yep. See you guys Thursday.
How is that when he was married to Michael? All right. Later, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. Truth bombs that many never knew. We talking politics, everything up to the moon. Was the landing real or fake? I guess you'll never know. Let's talk, this is the Nate and Garrett Show, yeah. So lend me your ear, let's get it poppin'. You know that we keep it live, non-stoppin'. Educating, entertain, there ain't no doubt. After you listen, you'll be thinking way outside the box. From media dishonesty, never let them play you. Keep it authentic nowadays, many can't do. Unfiltered is how we do it. Make sure you stay locked in and tuned in, let's go. Had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. The Nate and Garrett Show.